What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Acre Gold Standard podcast. My name is Zach Hernandez, and this evening I'm joined by my co-host Matt Llewellyn and our guy Mike Andrews of Nothing But Niners. Before I kick it off to you guys, if you're tuning in on Twitter, head over to youtube.com/49ers Hive. Join from there so you can share your thoughts. We can actually see and interact with them. We can't see them from Twitter. With that said, Matt, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, Zach. Had a busy day today. Got a little update for the Tesla. Got some new iPhones ordered. NBA 2K came out today. I guess there's a hurricane off the coast of San Diego right now. So, it's a lot going on.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's such a trip.
Yeah.
Not used to these hurricanes here. Mike, how you doing?
I am well. No kids in the house. My wife's birthday is coming up soon. Our anniversary was a couple of days ago, and I'm ready to talk some 49ers football, man. I mean, what more could a guy want? No kids, happy wife, I hope, because she's in arm's reach right now. So, and then happy life, right? And 49ers football was back, guys. Like, we're less than, 48 hours away? Like, come on, man. Let's go.
That's right. 48 hours. We are almost there. We're so close. We're going to have a really good show for you guys planned. If you're watching on YouTube, hit like, hit subscribe. We appreciate it. We got some pretty big news. Matt, what would you like to start with? Because we got a lot to kind of cover on the news side.
Yeah, let's start with the news that's coming out today. The news that kind of affects the 49ers in-game action. And then we'll go from there with the other stuff.
Got it. Okay.
We're looking at yet another season where we're hearing about George Kittle being injured. Man, I'm kind of mind blown. And as the resident Kittle detractor, let's start with Mike. Mike, what's going on with Kittle, man?
So my man's got a groin injury that's been bothering him, and it's so weird, right? Like, the Niners are doing their best to make it seem like he's going to play in Sunday's game. They're saying we're hopeful. Kyle Shanahan was just on KNBR this morning talking about, we'll see how things go when we hit the practice field. We're going to go through some red zone drills, and we'll see if he's good enough to play on Sunday. George Kittle later on goes and talks to people in the locker room, and he's saying, I'm going to do everything in my power. Like, honestly, if it's the way they're making it sound, just don't play. It's not worth getting hurt. That's my opinion on it. On the flip side, people are going to be like, yo, you're getting all this money not to sit on the pine and wait till you're 100%, get out there and play. So I don't know how other people feel about it, but I say let him sit, man. He's more important to later than he is right now, in my opinion. I don't know.
I agree with you, and I think it's a 3-factor decision-making process, right? Well, really 4. Groins are a particularly troublesome injury that can last, right? That's one. You got, and Kittle's injury prone anyway. Like I said, he's played his record-setting year where he set the tight end yardage record is the only year in which he's played every game of a season. He played 15 his rookie year, 16 that year, 14 the next year, 8 in 2020, and then 14 in 2021. It seems to be something with him, and it typically seems to be lower body injuries. So that's one thing. It's a troublesome injury. Second of all, what's the rush? I mean, the Chicago Bears are legitimately one of the worst rosters in football. That's number 2. So this is a game that you can actually afford to sit Kittle and kind of get away with. I know you want to get Trey Lance out on the right foot, but I think the 49ers have enough talent in every other skill position with everybody else coming in fairly healthy that you can get away with, not rushing Kittle out there. The third thing is the Bears just put in new grass. And we all know when you put in that new field, there's some growing pains. You got to, especially, natural grass, you're laying down the sod. Maybe it's not all the way set. You're going to have big chunks coming up anyway. And then finally, it's supposed to rain in Chicago. So you're talking about maybe, okay, new turf, that's bad enough, right? Now you're talking about wet grass as well. And all it takes is one little slip or stumble on a block or on a route or a cut. And then all of a sudden you're exacerbating that groin injury. Why risk it? Just let him sit.
I agree 100%. It's the Bears. If the 49ers can't beat the Bears without George Kittle. I think they have bigger problems on their hands. All of the reasons you just laid out, Matt and Mike, early on in the year, weather, new turf. Let's just play it safe. And with that said, we're going to go over the rest of this injury report real quick. Daniel Brunskill is out with a hamstring injury. George Kittle's questionable. Everyone else should be good to go. Greenlaw, Armstead, Burks, Garoppolo, and Mike McGlinchey. So
Garoppolo ain't going to go.
Yeah. I know.
He'll dress, but he ain't going to play.
Yeah. It is interesting how they've tried to frame this. Mike, do you think that it's a bit of chess where they're trying to get the Bears to think, oh, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Like, there's no chance he's really going to give it a shot, right?
There's a chance. I mean, George Kittle's a tough guy. I'm not going to take anything away from him. You know, we've seen him play through injuries. He goes out there. There's games where you see George Kittle targeted, 7 or 8 times, and then there's other games where you see him targeted just 2 or 3, and that's kind of like out of desperation, right? And those 2 or 3 targets be really, really short routes, nothing really developing. And I think those are the games where he's nursing some sort of injury and playing through it, But I mean, the groin thing it's weird, man. I've had a groin injury before. I thought maybe I had like a hernia or something. You know what I mean? Like just lifting things, you could feel the strain in your groin. Like it's not pleasant at all. And that's me lifting things that I'm prepared for. I'm in complete control of. Imagine now dealing with a 250-pound human being, a 300-pound human being moving and pushing on you. You know what I'm saying? Or getting crunched up by guys, across the middle of the field. I just. Is it possible he plays? Yes, but for his sake, I hope it's not. As far as like the chest thing, I would more likely say, oh, we doubt he's playing, and then boom, put him out there. Make them watch him film on some of the other tight ends that we have on the team for their tendencies. Like that's what I would do if I were the Niners, if I'm playing chess with it, that is.
I wonder if the 49ers are going to, if Kittle's gonna play, right? I wonder if it's going to be in very specific circumstances where you need him as a pass catcher, right? Clutch situation, something like that. Dress him, but keep him on the side. I don't know. I could see them doing something like that too. But again, this is, we're coming into 2022 and it's another year where Kittle's injured. He's, about to turn 30, I believe, this season. He's in the 3rd year of that big contract extension that he signed. I think, that there's a possibility that this might be the start of the end for George Kittle. It's a lot of injuries. It's a lot of, you talk about the best ability is availability. And now we're looking at George Kittle in the same way that we looked at a lot of other past 49ers that we were like, man, if we can't rely on them to be healthy, we're talking about the 49ers starting Trey Lance, and they're starting Trey Lance because Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't stay healthy. George Kittle can't stay healthy either. At what point do you start looking to replace George Kittle? Because they're letting it rock with the same dudes that they had before, plus Tyler Kroft for blocking situations. But the whole purpose of getting Tyler Kroft for blocking situations was to protect George Kittle from injury that he sustains blocking, and the wear and tear, and you worry about that kind of stuff. And it didn't matter anyway. The 49ers are being a little hush-hush on when exactly this injury happened. I don't know. With the way this is going, I think we're going to start to see Kittle on the decline in his career.
Can I ask you guys a question? And everyone in the chat also, by the way, right? If the Niners could get a 2nd-round pick for George Kittle, would you do it? Like this season, not even playing the whole, like by this trade deadline, or maybe even in the offseason. You know what? I'll move it out to the offseason. I think you kind of will see what the Niners can do this year, right? But if someone was willing to give you at least a 2nd-round pick, would you guys take that trade for George Kittle? Because
I'd rather they package George Kittle with Jimmy Garoppolo and get us a first back.
I'd take it. He's on the wrong side of Lake City Fresh says he just turned 28.
Yeah, he's like a month.
No, he's turning 29. He's turning 29 in October. So he's almost 30. Yeah.
Oh, 340. I thought it said 32 days. I'm looking at it says 28 and 3-4, but 2. I didn't see the 2, so you're right. Yeah.
He's going to be 29.
Right.
So basically 30 who
Right. Well,
when's the last
and
time
with
he
the
played a
way
full
that
season?
with the way that he plays, basically
Yep.
34.
Yeah. It's like dog years, but Kittle years for the NFL.
Right. Well, we see how
Yeah.
fast running backs decline, right? And Kittle is a very physical player. It's no wonder, like, you look at Travis Kelce and he doesn't really get injured, but he's also not the type of ferocious blocker that Kittle is. You can tell he's a little more business-like with the way that he handles contact, and it actually serves him well because he keeps playing in all these games. It's the same reason how certain tight ends in the past were able to stay healthy. Where you look at guys like towards the end of his career, Antonio Gates always getting hurt for the Chargers. Why? Great blocker, physical guy, right? But you look at somebody like Tony Gonzalez, who's not necessarily a good blocker or somebody that's that itching for contact, have a longer career and more productive career because he's making the business decision. I think that we're getting to the point where Kittle is going to start aging rapidly before our eyes because of the style that he plays. And Shanahan even said it last year. Sometimes I got to hold Kittle back from himself because he doesn't have an off switch. He just hits dudes and it's like, yo, you got to slow down, man. And, it's the coaches can't even rein him in. So I think Father Time and his body is going to do the reining in for him.
So Lake City Fresh. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say to Matt's point about maybe he just comes in on certain packages. I even think that's something that Shanahan maybe kind of hinted to. Let's see how he performs in red zone drills today. He knows about you don't need Kittle to practice, right? Like, he knows the system. He knows what he's going to be asked to do out there. But saying he wants to see how he's used in red zone, where Kittle's not really used in red zone as it is. Like, you can go back, Kittle's never had more than 4 or 5 touchdowns in a season, something like that. So even the year that he set that crazy record, he didn't have a ton of touchdowns that year.
He's got 20 career touchdowns.
Right. So
that's not a lot.
To say that they want to see how he performs in the red zone, maybe it's something a little different they're going to try to do this year with Trey Lance. Get those taller, 6'4", the Juwan Jennings out there, see what they can do in those type of situations. Maybe that's what they were working on, and see if it's worth keeping them out there for certain packages like that. I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. But yeah, sorry, Matt. Sorry, Zach.
No, you're good. I agree. Lake City Fresh says, I don't think so, fellas. He was talking about restructuring already to stay here, but the decline is imminent. The contract is tough to deal with on the back end of it if he's not playing, let alone playing up to certain standards. So I think so. But Mike, to answer your initial question, if the 49ers could get a second rounder for George Kittle after this year, I'd say take it. And I love Kittle, but I just think you gave up all these first rounders to get Trey Lance, and you're able to kind of replenish the roster and move away from an aging, extremely physical tight end who, yes, may still be in his prime for how much longer. From an roster building perspective, I would take it. I wouldn't really like it though, because I love Kittle. With that all said, we got another interesting story that I can't wait to get your guys' opinion on, which has just been everywhere, and it's been really, really annoying to see, to be honest with you. So I'm going to pull up Shanahan's comments on it today, but the story is obviously Trey Lance was not a captain. The horror, the nightmare. Can you guys imagine this? So Trey Lance was not voted a captain. I think he finished like 7th or 8th or whatever, 7th in voting, right? And you got people on Twitter saying, this is not a good look. This is not blah, blah, blah. Oh my God. The only other teams to do this is the Browns and the, Texans. I don't even know who the hell the other 2 teams are. Matt, is this any reason to be concerned? What's going on here?
Trey Lance hasn't played, and Trey Lance is a second-year guy, and the 6 people that are in front of him would be the 6 captains on any team in the NFL, really? Again, these comments here from Shanahan say it all. Bosa just barely got enough votes to get up to number 6. And by the way, let's let it be known too that Trey Lance finished ahead of the captain voting, ahead of Deebo Samuel. So this is people making a mountain out of a molehill because Jimmy Garoppolo stayed and because he's not a captain. And They're looking for any angle. It's the same shit that they always do. Let's look for an angle to doubt this kid or throw shade at this kid. So if something happens, maybe something happens, then we can go, see, we told you. It's just hedging. And the minute that Trey Lance takes off and becomes a superstar, they'll be like, oh, I knew it all along, man. That was just other people hating. It's what everybody does. So it's really annoying. And I'm glad that we have less than 48 hours to get to the field so that Trey Lance can start shutting up all the doubters. And his play can do the talking. No more speculation, no more Monday morning quarterbacking, no more offseason BS. What you see on the field is what you're going to be able to judge him by. This is like such a non-story. And I think that this preseason was a little bit weird for everybody because, this guy played in the first game but didn't play in the second. This guy didn't play in the second, so he's going to play in the third. Trey Lance got barely any reps in the preseason. We have a bunch of competing interests. We have people shuffling around from job to job to job. All these narratives. Now it's about football, and that I can't be more happy about that. So, it's one of those things where people are just going to take something and run with it no matter what, and this is just the latest in the line. And that's like, I think you can, if you could read this in Kyle Shanahan's voice, he's probably kind of annoyed, Yeah.
So I'm going to read this. I'm going to throw it to you, Mike. So Kyle Shanahan was on KNBR, I believe, this morning, and he was asked if the 49ers are not fully committed to Trey Lance after bringing back Jimmy Garoppolo and not making Lance a captain, who finished 7th in captaincy voting. He said, guys, this is Trey's first year starting for us. We were letting go of a $24 million starting quarterback to do that. We got him back for a backup price. I don't think that has to do with not having faith in your starter. That never would have happened if it just didn't come to fruition here. We were very fortunate that happened. So we obviously were willing to go to a different direction. And we ended up having something fall into our lap. And the whole captain vote criticism is kind of a joke to me. Bosa finally got enough votes to go up to number 6. And look at those 6 people in front of Trey. I think they were all pretty worthy of that vote. And just to give it to a guy in his first year because he's a quarterback, the only reason we would have done that is to avoid questions in articles. And that's really not what we do. We tried to do what the team votes for. If I would have guessed the votes, I would have guessed he would have been right where he was at. So I really got no problem with it at all. What's your take on this, Mike? Is this troublesome?
Yeah, absolutely. It's troublesome for the people who are tired of hearing Trey slandered every moment. This is not a story, guys. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Can you imagine a guy being a team captain or even not being a team captain, whichever way you want to? So what? Like people say, oh no, it's the captain's job to rally the troops and get people behind him and all that, right? All right, I hear that. But Nick Bosa is a captain. You think Nick Bosa's on the sideline giving like hype speeches and shit like that? Like, do you think that? No, Nick Bosa is a captain because one, he plays well and people love his work ethic, which most of the work that he does is away from the team anyway. So why is Nick Bosa a captain? It's just because he's really, really good. Trey Lance hasn't proven anything yet. He'll be a captain next year. I'm sure of it. Like, and Kyle Shanahan, people say, oh, well, they usually keep 7. This year, they only kept 6. Usually they keep 7 if the 7th person is a special teamer like Robbie Gold. So that's usually when the 7th one is. They're not just going to give it to Trey just to sew it on his jersey. You know what I mean? And I'm not mad at that. I think that if you want to keep this guy hungry, you have to find little ways to encourage him. And this is another one of the ways that I think the team is using it, to manipulate what they're going to get from this young man. Like, hey, listen, you didn't quite make the captain this year. Rank higher than 6th. Rank higher than 7th. I'm sorry. And then see what happens. Go out there, put the work in, make the guys really, really believe in you to get more votes. That's the way it is. So I'm not mad at it at all. I like the way that we did it. It's not a big story, not a big deal.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's a scene in one of the Spider-Man movies where Tony Stark takes the suit from little Spider-Man and he's like, I'm nothing without the suit. And it's like, if you're nothing without the suit, you shouldn't have it. You know what I mean? Like if the C on his chest is going to define Trey Lance, he's not the guy for us. If that's going to be in his headspace, that he needs that to be successful, he's not the guy. And I think that everybody in that locker room knows you don't have to have the captain's patch on your chest to be a leader in the locker room. And Trey Lance, through his actions in the offseason, through his work ethic, showing up every day, doing the things that he needs to do, handling the media with the grace that he handles it for someone his age, the fact that he, welcomed Jimmy Garoppolo with open arms, despite the sources that said he was a little annoyed when he first heard about it, like all these things, everything he puts out to the front-facing public and everything you hear about him behind the scenes is that he's a great dude. And that's going to translate into him being a great leader. When you're a good person and you work harder than everybody, I mean, you're leading by example at the very least. Like Mike said, Nick Bosa is not a guy that's going to, be a big locker room speech guy or anything like that. But he's the dude that you're like, that guy works week in, week out, day in, day out. He's the one that works the hardest. And if the most talented player on the team is going to be the one working the hardest, then I have no excuse but to work hard. So the C on the chest doesn't really mean anything to me.
There's a clip, and then we can move on from this, that I want to share of Ben Albright, who joined 95.7 The Game. And I thought it was a very interesting clip, so I'm going to play it here.
And maybe I'm just mincing words here, so correct me if I'm wrong. It sounded like you said Jimmy's the one who's a little irritated that he isn't in another location, and it's not Trey Lance.
Yeah, well, I don't want to say that Jimmy's irritated per se, but Jimmy wants to play football, and he's not going to be playing football there with this Trey Lance's show now. And I've seen all this just bad reporting out of there, talking about the coaches don't like Trey Lance. That's absolutely false. Talking about they're going to switch back to Jimmy Garoppolo. That's false. All that stuff, that is absolute nonsense. I don't know where this stuff gets cooked up. It is the Trey Lance show. They traded those picks for Trey Lance. They weren't traded for Mac Jones. All this revisionist history from people who were wrong just need to shut their mouths. They were wrong.
Shut your mouth. You were wrong. Well said, Ben Albright.
Yeah, Steve said it in there. I thought you were going to play the clip where he called him, there's a reason he's silver because he never finishes first. He's never gold. So I thought that's the clip you were going to play. And by the way, Benjamin Albright's voice does not match his body at all. I picture some bald guy from the South with a straw hat on his head or something. You know what I mean? Like walking.
Right. He sounds like he should be the coach of University of South Carolina.
Right. Yeah. Like his body, it just doesn't match at all. And I love Ben Albright. Like he's a good person. But it's funny as heck, man. I like it. And he's absolutely right, man. This is, you guys see it. Like if the Niners weren't ready to start this guy this year after all they traded up for him, they made a mistake. It's that simple. You traded all that up for him. Most people would expect you to trade that kind of capital for someone that's a day one starter, But Lance, coming from the unique situation where he was and how long he had been out of football and all that, like this is a guy that they did the right thing by, and it's time. It's time. There's nothing else to discuss. Unfortunately, it's going to be a story. And even if he has a good game, I know we said, we can't wait for him to get out here and, silence people. Trey Lance can go out here and have the same exact performance that Josh Allen just did. And you know what people are going to say? But can he do it consistently? How many times can he do it? One game is nothing. It's not a big. It's not going to stop, guys. I want you guys to be prepared. It is still not going to stop. We've seen Jimmy have good games before. So what? That's not a big deal. We still moved on from him, right? So just be prepared, guys. We're still going to have to deal with this for some time.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that he added in there, Jimmy, if anyone, is the one kind of annoyed that he's back. And obviously because he wanted to go somewhere and compete, but that means that he's well aware of the situation that he likely won't have a chance to play here. Even though the wording isn't his contract, as weird as that may look from the outside looking in, I think he knows this isn't my team anymore. So we'll see how that shapes out. And I just got to say real quick before I move on from this, people have said it in the chat, Rob Stats Guerrero. I like Rob. He's had an invitation to come on this podcast. He almost did come on this podcast, scheduling break out, but he needs to chill on this Trey Lance captain talk because that's all I see.
For every angle on it, bro.
It's insane. The moment it first came out, I saw him tweet like, "This is a bad look." Why? Why is it a bad look? Why is it bad? That's like going on a date with somebody and you're on your third date and you go home. How'd it go? Oh, went well. Did he propose? No. Oof. That's bad. That's bad. I'd run. It's like, whoa, let's just chill out. The dude started 2 games. Let's wait and see before we put a captain patch on his chest. And again, you're full of these fantastic players who are also good leaders it's kind of tough to break in. It's not a rookie rebuilding team. It's not the Jaguars. It's not the Texans. There are top premium players here already. So,
well, and let's be real, putting the C on your chest just means you get to go out and shake hands for the coin toss.
Yeah, exactly. So
look at college football. They got teams with like 14 captains. Like, who even cares, man?
All right. Is there anything else you guys wanted to get into before we get into this game?
I loved watching the Rams get the holy hell beat out of them on Thursday.
That was beautiful.
That was nice.
And if you guys missed it, it's on NFL Network right now. Well, maybe not for you guys because you're on the West Coast. Maybe it's coming on later on, but it's on for me right now, and it's great. I got
that great. NFL Plus, man. I watch that. I'll watch it over and over.
Yes, sir.
Stafford looked terrible.
Yeah. I'll ask both of you guys. I'll start with Matt. Was this a case of the Bills are that good, the Rams are that bad, or somewhere in the middle?
Somewhere in the middle. I think word came out that Stafford actually had like a little cleanup in his elbow done. So that's part of it. Like, he wasn't throwing in the offseason, and that kind of gives you an indication of why there was no market for Jimmy Garoppolo. If Stafford, who just won the Super Bowl and is on the same team and not getting reps, comes back and looks that rusty, what do you think Garoppolo is going to look like going to a new team in a new situation, not having thrown all offseason? That plays a part in it. Stafford looked really rusty. Cam Akers, I guess there was a story that came out today that Sean McVay said the team wants to see more urgency out of Cam Akers. That's not a good sign for him. Darrell Henderson actually started yesterday for them and got a lot more looks. Cooper Kupp still looks like Cooper Kupp, though. He's still really good, but they have a problem with their other wide receivers. I think it'll be a little bit more alleviated once Van Jefferson comes back, but Allen Robinson, I didn't even know he was on the field yesterday or Thursday. And, you know, the defense looks like it's taken a step back. And that's, I mean, when they lose Von Miller and I see Von Miller on the opposite side actually wreaking havoc, I think Von Miller had like 1.5 or 2 sacks in that game. Like he was getting back there. So you see what they're missing at this point. And the Bills just have a ton of depth. We talked about it today. They started their 6th round rookie corner over their 1st round rookie corner, even though Elam got reps. And then once Tre'Davious White comes back, like that's a deep cornerback room. Again, you get pass rushing with Von Miller. That was, you know, something that the Bills were sorely lacking last year. It looks like they've shorn up all the weaknesses. And I think that there are 2 ways that last season goes for the Buffalo Bills coming into this season. You lose to KC on that 13-second drive, and it either tears you apart or it motivates you. And a 31-10 victory over the defending Super Bowl champ looks like motivation. So hell of a way to start the season.
It was awesome. I loved seeing it. I don't know if we lost Mike or if we just lost his camera feed. It was fantastic. Oh, there he is. He's back.
Check the chat.
Okay. I really, really enjoyed watching that. And Josh Allen looks better than ever. Really better than ever. All right. With that said, we got to take a second to thank today's sponsor. And that is, of course, my bad, Mybookie. Shout out to Mybookie for sponsoring today's show. Guys, as the 49ers prepare to kick off their season against the Bears this Sunday, we are under 48 hours away from 49ers football. Right now is the time to prepare for your winning season as well. Whether you're a veteran bettor or a first-timer, Mybookie gets the most for your money with their double deposit bonus. It's quick and easy. A $250 deposit turns into a $500 deposit, and you can use the funds to bet instantly on as many games, contests, props as you want. They make it super simple. To claim your bonus, all you got to do is register today at Mybookie.ag. Enter in promo code HIVE, as in 49ers Hive, Hive, for those that can't spell. This is designed to add more fun, more excitement to the games and the sports that we all love. 49ers football is our baby. Might as well make some money off of it. I saw my guy Tyler saying he won $200 off of the Rams game. I put a $25 bet that the Rams would be tied at half and the Bills would win. That was plus 1,600. That 25 turned into 425. Beautiful. So you guys go right now, Mybookie.ag, promo code HIVE, bet on team win totals, predict the Super Bowl winner. We got to go with the Niners, right? or use the MyBookie prop builder to secure the bag. Your winning season begins today exclusively at MyBookie. Mybookie.ag, promo code Hive, Hive.
Can't wait to do these prop bets again this year.
We're going to start with them. Exactly. Yeah. We're going to start with them. If we have chance, we might start with one tonight. So
there we go.
We'll see.
We should get it done.
Yes, sir. All right. With that said, the first game of the year is here, Matt, and I couldn't be more excited. The 49ers travel to Chicago. They're already there. Sunday morning, 10 a.m. We don't have to wait long at all. Come
not
NFL
at all.
Sunday. Before we kind of dive into the minutia of this game, what's your overall take on it? What are you looking forward to seeing?
I'm looking forward to seeing a clearly superior on paper football team beating the snot out of somebody that they should beat the snot out of. So to me, it's a simple get in, get your business done, fly home, and get ready for Seattle, right? Take the Bears seriously because any given Sunday, we know this, right? But, make sure that you head into the game with a clear head and the mindset of, hey, we should beat the brakes off these dudes. Let's do it. Let's beat the brakes off these dudes and get it done.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it is. Bears fans on Twitter this whole entire offseason, ever since the schedule came out, I should say, have been, the Niners are basically the same roster. We basically got the same team. If we go down for down, we're basically the same team. No, not in the least. You couldn't be farther from the truth. The 49ers may have a relatively unknown player under center, but everything else, they got superstars at almost every position. And we could go down roster by roster and explain why the 49ers have a top 5 roster, but we already did that in a previous episode, so we're not going to do it tonight. Also, real quick, I see the Ghost of Judah Tribe super chatted. Trey Lance is bald as fuck. Hairline as bad as the team. Laugh my ass off. He is not bald.
As the Bears, maybe. Like, he's not bald. He's like he's trimming. What is he doing? Yeah. He's lining up.
He shaves it. He shaves it so he can line it up. It's a thing the kids do these days. So he's not bald.
Used to do that, if I remember, sir.
I didn't shave a part and keep the rest long, but I did have a lineup. Yeah. Well, it got really messed up at one time. My hairline was about an inch back on my head, thanks to a specific barber that I will not mention. But yeah. He's not bald. It's a hairstyle. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Don't be mad because your team about to get worked.
Yeah. Seriously. All right. This game, though, obviously we're excited to see Trey Lance. We're excited to see the rookies.
I hope you come back after this.
Please do. Please come back. Sunday, we'll be live right after the press conference. Come back. If you're right, we'll shout you out. If you're wrong, we'll banish you to hell.
We'll take. I mean, no, we ain't gonna banish him to hell. We're gonna sit here and take it. But I'm telling. Hey, listen, we're not above. Hey, if the Bears can come out and get it done, get it done.
And I'm gonna go the opposite way. I hope Justin Fields has a great game because I'm a big Justin Fields fan. I hope he comes out and plays well. I don't know why you're so offended by Trey Lance.
I know he's so. Shut up. All right, child.
Mike, I'm going to throw it to you. Matt shared his overall take on the game, what he's looking forward to seeing. What are you looking forward to seeing the most Sunday morning?
The right tackle position. When I say looking forward to the most, right? Obviously, we all want to see the Niners do well. We want to see a good game. We want to see a dominant defense and all that stuff. I'm here to look at the deficiencies, if I'm being completely honest with you, right? I want to see our weaknesses, and I want to see how bad those weaknesses are. The Bears... the Bears have Robert Quinn over there, 18.5 sacks last year, right? If I'm the Bears, I'm not going to put him on the left side with Trent Williams. I'm going to move him to the right side, the left side of their defense. But I'm going to move him to the right side over whoever is playing right tackle and really work that guy. You know what I mean? Like, look at what the Rams did against the Niners. They moved their best defensive lineman, Aaron Donald, all over that line to cause havoc against us in that NFC Championship game. I want to see the Bears do that so I can get a real assessment of what this right tackle position looks like. Believe it or not, I'm way more confident in the two guards in the center than I am whoever. I don't care if it's Mike McGlinchey, who, by the way, his name was not on that injury list. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Mike McGlinchey's name was not on that injury list at all. I don't care if it's Mike McGlinchey. I don't care if it's Colton McKivitz, whoever it is. I want to see them against their best pass rusher a couple of times in this game so I can get an assessment on how I'm going to feel about this offensive line throughout the game, throughout the season. Sorry.
Yeah, no, and I feel you on that. I just wonder if Robert Quinn is going to suffer from the loss of Khalil Mack, which I suspect might be the case. The Bears defense lost a couple of key pieces. By all accounts, Roquan Smith is not happy with the team. They haven't moved off him yet. Maybe they can still repair the relationship, but he made a very public trade request. Again, this is one of those situations where I agree with you. I want to see what he looks like against Robert Quinn. But if you're the 49ers and you see Robert Quinn against Mike McGlinchey and you're planning on running the ball, just run it behind Big Trent Williams. You can take Robert Quinn out of the game, I feel like.
Yeah. They have another guy that came over with the defensive coordinator from Indy, Muhammad.
Sorry, I hate to interrupt you. Can we just ban this fool? He's just being stupid.
Don't ban him. Let him have his moment.
Sorry,
5
dude.
minute timeout. 5 minute timeout.
It is.
Timeout.
Okay, fine.
Be respectful in the chat, please. Be respectful in the chat.
He's getting a little out of pocket. I don't mind opposing teams talking stuff, but when it's just blind and not even, it's nonsensical. It's just for the sake of trolling.
No, I get it. I get you. I get it.
I encourage opposing team fans to come in here and contribute to the show. We'll talk, but if you're just hijacking the chat, you gotta sit down for a minute.
Now, this guy Muhammad came over from the Colts, and he was a situational pass rusher, right? And he still had 6 sacks last season. They converted to a 4-3 instead of a 3-4 now, and so I think that's going to be the guy opposite of Quinn. I really think he's going to be the guy playing opposite him in a more
according to their depth chart, he is.
He is, yeah. So that would make a lot of sense to me then. So I'm anxious to see how he looks. How many times have we seen a situational pass rusher and be like, man, this guy should get more reps, right? We're sitting there saying things like that. This is his moment, and I heard you guys talk about Roquan Smith earlier. I understand that he's a little disgruntled about his contract, but let me tell you something, man. When guys step back and bet on themselves, that's usually their best season.
Oh yeah,
it's usually their best season. So we're gonna have our hands full. I know that a lot of people feel like this should be an easy game and things like that. I don't know how easy I expect this game to be. Justin Fields is a capable quarterback. He can make all the throws. Not to mention he ran for over 100 yards last time we played them, and that was in the old system. This is a new system that's more quarterback friendly. They're bringing some things over from Green Bay with their new coaching coordinator, offensive coordinator. So this is going to be something that I think he could probably take a couple of steps forward in. We should see a nice step in progress from Justin Fields from year 1 to year 2, although this is a new system. So does that count as year 1 in the system now? How does that work? I don't know, but I'm looking forward to the game. It should be a lot of fun.
So I pulled this up. I thought this was just funny to talk about real quick on KBR. Corey Wooden said Bears will win, 49ers will, and Fields will outplay Trey. 49ers don't have faith in Trey, to which Kyle Shanahan responded, it sounds like he has no idea what he's talking about, is just reading headlines. This is why I love Kyle Shanahan. He just does not care anymore. He's like, you know what? I'm so tired of all the BS. This guy has no idea what he's talking about. He's not even going to hide it. The fact that anybody could say the 49ers don't have faith in Trey Lance is just astounding to me based off of everything they did to move up and get him, and then to move off of Jimmy to play him, like Kyle just said, where we didn't move off a $25 million, $24 million starting quarterback off of a guy we wouldn't have faith in. As far as this game, it's tough for me to go with anybody else but Drake Jackson, and I'm going to sound like a broken record because I've been talking about this dude every single game since the preseason. I'm excited to see what he can do. I really am. We're finally going to get to see him paired opposite of Nick Bosa with Eric Armstead in the middle. The defensive line is extremely deep. Watching the Rams let Matthew Stafford get obliterated last night made me so excited about the 49ers 2 matchup against them this year. The Bears have a little bit of extra help because Justin Fields is extremely mobile and he's going to be able to roll out, escape, extend plays. That does concern me a bit. So I'm hoping the 49ers can keep him in the pocket and capitalize on the pressure they're going to be able to generate, because they will be able to generate some. Matt, I'm going to throw it back to you. Before we do our offensive and defensive MVP predictions.
Yeah, for sure.
what would you be happy with coming out of tomorrow's game with Trey Lance's performance? Maybe not through the roof, maybe not, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. But no, it was a good performance.
I want to see efficiency. I want to see him protect the football more than we know that Jimmy Garoppolo would protect the football in the same situation, right? You're going to see flash. You might not see the completion percentage that you would see, right? So maybe one big play and just protecting the football and protecting himself. If he's going to run with the football, I want to see more of what he did in preseason week 1 where he slid and got down. So relative mistake free, right? If he's going to miss, I want to see him miss small. I want to see him protect the ball and protect himself. So efficient day from Trey Lance, just a step in the right direction. He doesn't have to be a world beater or an MVP candidate overnight. Let's just see progression from last year.
Exactly. Mike, you have anything out of that?
Yeah, to Matt's point, you want to see efficiency from, Trey Lance. Someone in the chat said something about the small school quarterback is going to suck or something like that, right? Well, the last time I just pulled up Carson Wentz versus the Bears, and he's 3-0 against the Bears. I'm not quite sure what a small school has to do with ability. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys know what school Carson Wentz went to, but hello, here comes Trey Lance. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not worried about it. This guy, he threw for over 650 yards against them, 5 touchdowns. It's not counting any rushing stats at all, any scrambling or anything like that. The Bears are going to have their hands full. So I wouldn't just say the small school guy is going to suck against the Bears. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. And this is a battle of a team. And I mean, we can do it right now. I mean, we probably should do it right now. Run position group by position group. 49ers, how do they match up against the Bears? I feel like Justin Fields and Trey Lance are on similar footing. Justin Fields struggled a lot last year. Had some good moments, but a lot of times where he looked like he was just getting battered out there. And that's just like a bad team, right? And Trey Lance, on the other hand, has a lot of inexperience. So I think you're looking at them kind of as in the same place where they're coming into this season. They really need to make an impact. They really need to prove themselves. Quarterback to me is a push. What do you guys think?
I might give the edge to Justin Fields a little bit just because he has basically a full year's worth of experience. With that said, it's maybe like, 59, 41 or whatever, that would break down would be. It's not that big of a push. Because I really like Trey Lance's ability. And I think even with the limited experience, he's shown a pretty good glimpse of what he can bring to the table. And that should be enough for this team to be able to take off. Mike, who you taking out of the two? Week 1, at least, not long term.
Just based off of what we've seen, only what we've seen, I'm going to give the edge to Justin Fields. But like you said, it's an ever so slightly margin. It's not much of a difference right now. But we have seen, even if you just factor in preseason, right? Justin Fields last time out there, he was something crazy like 14 of 16 or 12 of 14 for 3 touchdowns, like an incredible quarterback rating. He was just on fire, right? Like he couldn't miss. So I'm going to give him the edge right now. Doesn't mean that he's going to be the better quarterback overall or even tomorrow on Sunday's game, but just right now, I'm going to give him the edge just to Justin Fields at the quarterback. Now, if you're talking quarterback room, it's the Niners, but we're just talking about 1 versus 1, right? So I'm going to give it to Fields.
Right.
I thought the tweet was interesting. Real quick. Sam Monson of PFF. Justin Fields is the highest graded quarterback in the preseason, 15 plus dropbacks, passed for 8.1 yards per attempt, rushed for 7.6, and didn't have a turnover worthy play. Man doesn't have much help around him, but he looks very good heading into year 2. He had a very, very good preseason data on what Mike just said. So,
yeah, I always take preseason superstars with a grain of salt, though, because we've seen it before, right? Where a guy comes in, he tears it up in the preseason. He's going to be facing if we believe that the 49ers are a top 5 defense, and I know Mike, said that he thinks they're a top 3 defense in the NFL, then Justin Fields should struggle against us because his preseason numbers largely came against backups. I mean, that's what preseason is, right? It's tune-up. So now the games count, and it'll be interesting to see. And I think it's very telling that Justin Fields, he was talking about his left tackle and said, listen, I love my dude to death, but, I don't expect him to win every time against somebody like Nick Bosa, So Justin Fields is aware of what's coming. And so I think that, it's going to be a situation where there's just not enough around him when the games count. It's easy for your backups to look good against other teams' backups. But when the cream of the crop is rising, the 49ers just have more cream.
I also want to see Nick Bosa play on the left side of their offensive line. I was watching a lot of stuff last year from the Niners, and they started moving him over to the right tackle. And I felt like he's just more effective from the left side. I don't like that they do that with him. Now maybe that was due to lack of, whether it be D Ford or whoever, and other players that were filling in were more comfortable.
I think it's on purpose. It's a strategy to poke the ball free from right-handed quarterbacks.
Okay.
So it's for strip sack purposes. And Joey typically lines up on the left-hand side as well. So it's something that more teams are doing because typically the opponent's best offensive lineman is their left tackle. So if you can afford to put your best guy on a right tackle who's probably not as good, it's the same thing why you want to see how Mike McGlinchey holds up against Robert Quinn, right? Okay, we know that Mike McGlinchey is not as good as Trent Williams, so why would we put Robert Quinn against Trent Williams? We're going to put him against Mike McGlinchey. Same thing kind of holds true for Bosa. Yeah, the quarterback can see Bosa coming a little easier, but Bosa also has eyes on the ball rather than he's looking at the quarterback's back, and so he can make a better attempt at strip sacks.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Their left tackle is a 5th-round rookie, right? Like, isn't that who their left tackle is this year? The Bears?
They got a lot of suspect players.
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull up their depth chart really quick. I thought that's what the case was. I could be wrong. So guys, forgive me if I'm wrong. Bears depth chart.
Oh, he is a rookie. That was why the quote was from Justin Fields was so poignant. So the quote Justin Fields said Jones. He says, "I know Jones is not going to win every rep. They're going to try to help him out as much as possible to keep Bosa from wrecking their offensive plans." And their coach said it's a great challenge for him. Anytime you play someone of the caliber as Mr. Bosa presents to you, you've got to have a plan. Regardless of who your right or left tackle are, you've got to make sure you've got a plan because he's someone that can change the game. You've got to do your best to make sure that you minimize that as much as you can. So, yeah, Jones came from Southern Utah, and this is his first NFL start. But, Larry Borum is a right tackle, and that's not exactly a household name either. So wherever you put Bosa, he's going to eat. And now we have Javon Kinlaw looking like a beast. But let's get back into the comparison because it kind of plays into it. I also think running back is something that's kind of a push. I think that David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert are nothing to sneeze at, but neither is Elijah Mitchell and Jeff Wilson Jr. And then throwing in Ty Davis-Price and Jordan Mason. So that to me is kind of like a similar situation too, where they're kind of evenly matched.
I call that a push as well. Yeah, I agree with that. What about you, Zach?
For the most part, yeah. I want to say maybe the Bears get a little bit, but I really like Elijah Mitchell. Hopefully he doesn't get injured. I know he had that injury that kept him out the whole preseason. Hopefully that doesn't re-aggravate or anything. But even if so, Jeff Wilson's a very capable back. And I'd like to see Jordan Mason and TDP get extended carries. Obviously not at somebody else's expense, but if that were to be the case, I'd be interested to see what would happen. So
I think it'll be something like a 12 or 13, 9 or 10 for Jeff Wilson, and then maybe 4 or 5.
All right. What about wide receiver?
49ers, hands down, have the
no question.
No question at all. Equinemius St. Brown is the lesser of the St. Brown brothers. Amon-Ra St. Brown is far more talented. Darnell Mooney is nothing to sneeze at, but the fact that their third string wide receiver is one Dante Pettis, you're in big trouble if you're the Bears.
How did I not even know they were brothers until right now? You just blew my mind. The St. Brown brothers.
Equinemius and Amon-Ra, that's kind of off kilter first name, and then St. Brown, you just got to put one and one together, my brother.
There's so many players in the NFL, I guess.
Equinemius is the older brother, though.
Okay. All right. Yeah, the 49ers definitely have the edge at the wide receiver position. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, Danny Gray. Mike, you're cracking up. What's going on?
I fall for this guy to not get blocked. And he comes in right away, just trash, block. It was so funny. I'm like, dude, like I was gonna say next time I spoke, like, guy, like chill out. I fought for them to not block you, but before I could even say it, it was just blocked. I was like, all right, that's great.
If you're not adding anything constructive to the conversation and you're just actively trolling for trolling purposes, you can go elsewhere and do it. I'll never understand why teams go to a different team's channel just to talk shit. Like, I get it. You don't have anything else going on.
And not even productive shit. Like, hey, the 49ers could lose, and here's why. Yeah. Good point. Not even great point, right? Just a point. And this was no point. This was just trash. All right, well, we're gonna take you out. If all you're saying is trash, we're gonna treat you like it.
I don't know why my camera went out. I'm gonna hop back in and I'll be right back.
Yes, sir.
We gotta change the layout here, Matt. Yeah. So
there we go.
We got this, man. That's funny though, man. I wanted to tell him like chill out before they block you, and like I didn't even get a chance to come off of mute, and he was going like instantly. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you, man.
I mean, we're like Thor, man. We dropped the hammer pretty quick.
No, I see, and it comes down hard, man. I used to watch other teams and listen to other teams' podcasts just to see what they said, and it would help me in my preparation for the game. Can we handle what they're talking about? Right, every team in every game feels like, guys, we have a shot at winning this if X, Y, and Z happens. And so those are the kind of things that I like to hear. And that's why I'm not so quick to get rid of opposing teams.
Right.
Chat
and that's okay. Like I'm cool with that, right? Like it's just, again, trash. Like, okay. So,
let me ask you this question while Zach's going.
Because we're fair. We're very fair, right? Like we're going to break it down. And I try to be objective. There are going to be teams that we face on the schedule that I'm not going to be the homer and be like, yeah, the 49ers are going to win. Right.
Yeah,
no,
I know.
Bears, hands down, everybody is aware that the Bears are one of the worst rosters in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even a question. Right.
Now,
if
let me ask
somebody like Buffalo or KC or somebody like that, now we have a real conversation of like, dang.
Exactly. Right. It's more about how can we win, not will we win, right? It changes the whole tone of everything.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this while Zach is gone, right? The 49ers he's back. Never mind.
That's all right. You can still ask me, though. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The 49ers, since Kyle Shanahan has been here, has not had a repeat rushing leader. So, if it's not Elijah Mitchell this year, who do you guys think it'll be?
I want to say Jordan Mason.
Jeff Wilson Jr.
All right, I like both of those responses, man. I like them a lot, so that's pretty cool. I think.
Who's your answer?
I went with Jeff Wilson Jr., but a lot of people are saying Jordan Mason because of his running style and ability. I just think it's going to take a lot for him to even get in the lineup, honestly.
Yeah, to me, well, but even dating to last year, people like Hasty got carries, right? I mean, man, we always talk about Tevin Coleman 1 yard in a cloud of dust, and even still, it's like you have Coleman, you have Breida, you have Cargo Plane, you got Hasty, right? That's 4 backs. You're going to get carries, right? And if 1 week we saw Hasty 1 week went off and averaged like 6 yards a carry, the next week he got more carries. He didn't do anything with it, but he got more. And Shanahan's not afraid to ride the hot hand when it comes to his running backs. So if Jordan Mason can get 4 or 5 yards or 4 or 5 carries and get some really good yards, then the next time maybe he gets 6 or 7. If he does well with that, that's how you start creeping up. To me, Jeff Wilson has always been a guy where I'm like, he's nice as a backup and particularly as a third down, like pass catching option. We all remember the 0 blitz where he took it to the house, right? You want somebody who can catch the football, but an every down back, I just don't see that from Jeff Wilson. I don't think that he has the juice.
If I remember correctly, he started in place of an injured Elijah Mitchell in the Bengals game last year. He did a pretty good job. Wasn't spectacular or anything, but he held it down.
I don't think your backup running back should be spectacular, though.
Fair.
Jeff Wilson at this point is a 5 or 6 year pro. We know what Jeff Wilson Jr. is. That's why I want to go with one of the young guys, because it's like there's a reason why the 49ers felt comfortable getting rid of a 3rd round pick and Trey Sermon for this kid. There's something to that.
I don't think we have any spectacular backs right now, including Elijah Mitchell. I don't think
I agree.
The days of the long run going for, 50, 60 yards, 40 yards, those days are gone until we find someone else. So I think we're just looking for someone steady, consistent, you know what I mean? And that's what the Niners are looking for. So right now it's anyone's game. So I agree. Like, there's no wrong answer, but I just thought it was a fun exercise because we have never had a repeat rushing leader since Shanahan has been here. I thought that was really interesting.
It is.
Okay. So I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
We were at the wide receiver position, I think, at this point. I think we're still at a push on the right. David Montgomery is an established running back. He's a good running back. Khalil Herbert's a nice change of pace guy too. So their running back room is pretty good. We're talking about the wide receivers. And again, you're looking at Darnell Mooney. You're looking at Equanimous St. Brown. You're looking at Byron Pringle. You're looking at Velus Jones Jr. And then you get to Dante Pettis. Not a good receiver group, man. I mean,
yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, if your top 4 guy is someone that we willingly let go of, that should let you know where our ranking is already. You know what I mean? Like, this is someone that was just straight up cut. Wasn't like he got to the end of his contract. This was a guy that we said, you know what, just go. Like, we're better off without you.
Okay, this is my wait, put that back up. That's my boy. That's my little brother right there. He's my friend, but he's like my little brother. He's a Bears fan. He grew up a Bears fan, so we got some heat over this game right here. But I agree to this. I will take this bet. If the 49ers lose to the Bears, I will buy a Bears jersey. I will buy a Fields jersey. But get ready to wear that Trey Lance, baby.
I have to show up. That's a great bet, by the way. With this comment, Leonardo, I love this channel, but ever since that one guy said it looks like Zach's avatar looked like he pissed himself, I cannot see it. Please fix it. That is piss, good sir. I am covered in my own urine out of excitement and love for the 49ers. Fuck you, Steve, if you're watching, for commenting that. Fuck you. It was a good cartoon. Shadows worked out the way they did. I have no control over it. I didn't draw it. Matt, for some reason, has got a A+ shadow on his end. Doesn't have to worry about anything. Meanwhile, I'm looking like I just drank a damn gallon of water out of my penis. I had to get that out.
Right, or you just sweating a whole lot.
That's because my dick's big enough to not cast shadows on my crotch, buddy. All right, we're in the weeds now.
All right. The line is 6.5. Yeah, what the hell is going on after dark? The line is 6.5. Are you guys taking the over or under?
I'm taking the over for the 49ers. I think they win by like 10 or more.
I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under for one thing. We haven't seen Kyle with that killer instinct as long as he's been here. I haven't seen that version of Kyle Shanahan where he just runs up the score, continually keeps trying to score. At a certain point in the game, if we do get a comfortable lead, he's just going to go run heavy. Run, field goal, run, punt, whatever. And that's what he does. And I think he's going to try to protect Trey Lance also, not overexpose him to certain things like that. I think the 6.5 line, I think we're capable of winning by more than that. So let me be very clear with what I'm saying. But it also comes down to coaching. Same thing we're comparing each position group, right? It's cool that they have the better running backs. It's cool that we have better wide receivers, right? It's cool that we have the better offensive. We haven't got there yet. They might have the better quarterback right now, but they have to go against our defense. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't just say that. We're talking about the Bears having one of the worst rosters. I had the Patriots with the worst roster, but that coaching staff elevates it. And so going into the spread, you got to look at the coaching staff and how they play the game. Kyle just doesn't have that killer instinct. I wish he did. I would love for Trey Lance to be the guy to give him the confidence to say, fuck it, let's do it. But until I see it, I can't bank on Kyle just going out there and blowing people out, man.
I just wonder, though, if it's less about Kyle's killer instinct versus Kyle doesn't have the big play guy. Because if you're talking about Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to hit those like big plays, right? Even to a lesser extent, people will point back to the Super Bowl year. Oh, he didn't have the killer instinct or whatever. Man, Matt Ryan is not a guy that's going to like kill you over the top either. Julio Jones, not really a super deep route runner. He's a precise route runner, very good intermediate, very good to the sideline, will make some ridiculous catches, but you're not running 9 pattern with Julio Jones. What we know about Trey Lance is that he is inconsistent. He will miss some gimmies, but the one thing that he has is he has a really, really good looking deep ball. And he more often than not, he puts it on the money. And now you're talking about a guy out there with 4.3 speed and Danny Gray. And I think that people are going to sleep on Danny Gray a little bit because they're worried about Brandon Ayuk. They're worried about Deebo Samuel. If Kittle's healthy, they're going to be worried about him. They know Kyle Shanahan likes to run. And maybe once, maybe twice this game, Danny Gray gets a little loose. And rather than Jimmy Garoppolo either underthrowing or overthrowing by a country mile, maybe Trey puts that on point. And maybe that's 6. And that's where we get the big play. And you don't need Kyle Shanahan to have a killer instinct necessarily, because the big plays will come with Trey Lance's natural ability.
That is a phenomenal point. We get a 10-point lead, just 10-0, a touchdown and a field goal. I could see Kyle on second down just airing it out just to see what happens. Get Danny Gray some playing time. Let Trey Lance stay loose and stay warm. That is an excellent point. And that's what makes or breaks games. It's one big play here or there in your favor, and all of a sudden you're winning by 3 or 4 scores. So that is a phenomenal point. No deep balls, no pause, baby. Like all
no
day.
pause.
I'm taking 6.5 as the line. Give me the over, baby. Give me the over. The 49ers are going to make a statement. Mike, you said Kyle Shanahan has never really had that killer instinct. Once he gets the lead, he protects it. He just watched his fucking understudy win the Super Bowl and go through him to get it with the quarterback he wanted. He is a different coach this year. You could tell in the media. You could tell by how he's handled this whole offseason. He's going to have the killer instinct this year. He's finally got the guy to do it in Trey Lance. I say Niners by 10.
Hey, and to your point, I think somebody asked Kyle about how he felt about the Rams losing, and he was like, hey, I liked watching that.
Yeah.
So as opposed to, like, he wouldn't normally comment on that type of stuff, right? But I'm sure it gets in his craw that Sean McVay was able to get a Super Bowl before he was. So I think this is the year. Again, it's what I talked about with the Bills, right? They went through a lot of adversity, losing to a team that they had beat 6 straight in the fashion that they did, in a game where your offense gave you next to nothing and you were still within, a throw's distance of winning the game. They shut down Elijah Mitchell. They shut down the run game, and they dared Jimmy Garoppolo to beat him, and he couldn't. But guess what? Trey Lance is going to be able to beat you over the top, right? Matt Stafford, not Matt Stafford. Jalen Ramsey got barbecued on Thursday. There's a lot of holes in that Rams team, and you either take it like the Bills took it with their loss to Kansas City and you turn it into motivation, or you fall apart. I have a feeling that Kyle Shanahan, who wants to win at all costs, who has the red ass, as we like to say, he's going to go out there and be aggressive, and he's going to want to turn it up, and this team is going to want to go for broke.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. All right. Are we going to continue on with this roster by roster?
Yeah.
So
we're at the offensive lines. I'm going to give the slight edge to the 49ers just because of Trent Williams. Everything else is, the Bears offensive line, Cody Whitehair's there, but that's like, whatever. They both have pretty bad offensive lines, if we're being honest. The 49ers are a little bit better. The 49ers are really unproven up the middle, though, and that really, really worries me. And we saw it in the preseason where, again, Trey Lance got taken out of the third preseason game early because it was like, okay, this kid's getting killed. So we need to see what they're going to be.
Would you rather be starting a 5th-round guard or a 5th-round tackle?
Listen, I get that, but I'm going position by position, because would you rather start Spencer Burford or Cody Whitehair? I'll take Cody Whitehair.
But Aaron Banks, all right. I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at I could go position by position. That'd be great, but I'm taking the unit as a whole. Both the Bears have a bad offensive line. The 49ers have an elite level left tackle, and then question marks everywhere else, including Mike McGlinchey, because Mike McGlinchey is coming off of a major injury. So I'll give the edge to the 49ers, but it's not like, the difference between, the old school Dallas Cowboys offensive line and the Bears offensive line. You know what I'm saying? It's closer than one would think, but the edge goes to the 49ers for me.
Non-homer, I swear, I'm going with the Niners. Like, the Niners have the better line. I'm just gonna give it to the Niners. I can't in good conscience say that the Bears have the better, like, it just, I think a Bears fan would say, yeah, it's probably you guys this year. Like in whether you go through PFF, whether you go through preseason rankings and stats and things like that, Aaron Banks is a second-round pick. Like, he's not just some bum that is in here just to play. And nobody in the NFL is a bum. Let me be clear. I don't want to sound disrespectful to anybody, but he's not just Jake Brendel, some journeyman who we're plugging in over here, right? So let me put the heat back on us, right? He's not just a Jake Brendel type player. He is a guy with a high pedigree coming from a team that produces offensive lines in the NFL. Like, that's what Notre Dame, like this is what they do, right? So I have to give it to the Niners, and I don't think it's close, just to be clear.
I also give it to the Niners. I'm not sure if it's as big of a gap, but it's a sizable gap from the Bears to the Niners. There are some question marks, but I think what we do know should give us enough comfort going into this game.
Bro, you guys are going to have a hard time scoring 27 points with your skill positions. No offense. Like, Lance could take some time to cook, but 27 points against the defense is going to be hard to come by when you got as many holes as y'all do.
Yeah. Good luck.
All right, so now we're to the defensive line. This one's clearly the 49ers. It's not even close.
No.
They
got the best in the league. Best in the league.
I mean, it's right up there. It's got to be right up there. Yeah. Fan arrogance has you guys extremely underestimating Chicago Bears defensive line. I love Joey Bosa. He plays for the Chargers. But 18.5 sacks is 18.5 sacks. Watch out for Robert Quinn. No Khalil Mack to protect. So I'm doubling Robert Quinn all day and make everybody else prove it.
Yeah, Muhammad's going to have to go out there and actually do something, you know. You guys got to, like, for our fan, Mika, I'm assuming it's Mika, they're saying, maybe it's Micah, I don't know. Sorry, no disrespect at all. They're saying,
we'll get
you know,
there, by the
like,
way.
what are we really talking about here, right? You got Nick Bosa and you got Robert Quinn. I would call that a push. Not so much. If you want to give the edge to Quinn because he had more sacks than Bosa, that's fine. But Bosa was coming off of a nasty injury and still had 15, 16 sacks, right? So,
and Bosa also led the NFL in tackles for loss.
Right. So that's why I mean, if you want to call it a push, you want to do that, that's fine. If you want to give the edge to either one of those guys, I understand how you conclude that, right? But we have a second-round pass rusher who should have been a first-rounder that's coming in there. We have another first-round defensive lineman in Javon Kinlaw, who's finally healthy. We have Eric Armstead, who's another first-round. Like, come on. Like, you cannot say that these defensive lines are equal. Mika, you know it too. That's why you only mentioned one pass rusher, one defensive lineman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And, hey, we ain't even going to wait till next week. Just come back after the press conferences, and we'll be here. We'll be here.
Yes, sir. All right, tight end. We did skip tight end. We'll get back to that.
Tight end. If George Kittle is not playing, then I'm going to give it to the Bears because I think Cole Kmet has a lot of potential. And I thought he was really good last year. And Jimmy Graham was stealing touchdowns from him. I think he's actually going to blow up this year. I think this is going to be a good year for Cole Kmet.
He's probably going to be a top 3 tight end in the NFL this year. So I'm not going to make any mistakes about that. Yeah, he's that good. Bro, he's good between the 20s. And for whatever reason, they ignored him down in the red zone or whatever.
It's the Jimmy Graham effect, but Jimmy Graham's gone. So now he's going to get all those touchdowns.
Yeah, now he's going to get like, it was a crime how they treat him. But we're not just on here just talking just to talk. Like, we know what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So he's a really good tight end. No disrespect to him at all. Even if you include Kittle in this, I don't know, man. I don't know, because you don't know what version of Kittle you're going to get. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard. I'm going to say that they have the better tight ends. I'll say it. I know no one else wants to say it. I'll give them the edge there.
Bro, Bears fans are aggressive. We'll get to special teams too. Don't worry. We'll get there. Relax.
It's almost like we're going position by position, and we haven't gotten to that position yet.
Right.
Crazy to think.
Got to the defense, guys.
Yeah. Crazy. I know. Yeah. I don't think Kittle's going to play, so I'm going to give the nod here to the Bears. Cole Kmet. I like Cole Kmet. I don't think he's a top 3. You got Kelsey, Kittle, Pitts. At the very least, I don't see him breaking that. Top 5, I'd say yes. He's talented. Justin Fields is going to need him as a security blanket, especially with the very, very weak wide receiver group. And I really like Darnell Mooney. With that said, I'm giving the tight end to the Bears without George Kittle.
It's Kelsey, It's Waller, Commit,
Waller as well.
Pitts, and Andrews, and then Kittle.
I got Andrews number 2. Andrews is like Lamar Jackson's dude. And he's good. He's good. Okay. Guy, you got to relax. Your boy was 58.9% completions, had more picks than touchdowns, and had a 73.2 passer rating, okay? If
This
that's
guy is actually
experience,
bringing
that's fine.
something to the table. I want to commend
He is,
this guy.
and that's why. No, hey, I appreciate it. We appreciate the talk, and that's why I'm bringing up his comments. I think he's doing a good job. I get it. I totally do. So I just want to say, like, hey, the experience that Justin Fields got last year might not be great because people who get hit as much as Justin Fields got hit. Look at David Carr. Like, you start getting gun shy, you start hearing footsteps. We all remember the Sam Darnold "I'm seeing ghosts" thing. Like, you got to be careful, and the Bears got to be real careful with how they handle Justin Fields going forward because he took a lot of unnecessary punishment last year. And if they're not careful with him, they're going to ruin him. And they hired a defensive head coach, and they didn't spend any high draft capital on either playmakers or offensive line help. So you got to be very careful with how you approach Justin Fields. And I don't think that the gap between Justin Fields and Trey Lance, which 2 out of the 3 guys, I said it was a push, but these 2 guys gave the edge to Justin Fields at the quarterback position. I don't think that you can look at that as like this huge leap. So what you're talking about, that's fine, but it's not just the quarterback position.
Also, the amount of hits that Justin Fields takes when he's already down, I don't know what he does to these opposing defenses to make them so mad at him, but he takes a lot of hits to the head, and I really hope they start calling that. No, never gets called.
I've never seen that shit before in my life.
There was one where he got hit so hard that not only his helmet came off, but his headband came off too. So
they better call it.
And then as a medical professional, you know, we all know that story about Justin Fields having the epilepsy or whatever, the childhood epilepsy. And I was like, damn, they're about to give that shit to him again because he got cracked. So.
All right. Are we moving on to linebackers now?
We'll move on to linebackers.
You already know. Niners. Fred Warner, Aziz.
Yeah.
Dre.
The Bears have the best linebacker. I think Roquan Smith is the best linebacker, top to bottom. But as a position group, Fred Warner's not that far behind Roquan Smith. I think Fred Warner is a little lacking in coverage. But as a tackler, Fred Warner's there. As a gap stuffer, Fred Warner's there. Coverage could be a little bit better. Maybe that was just him getting paid or whatever. But then after Roquan Smith, you're not looking at a ton. You know, Nicholas Morrow, Matthew Adams, but it's not Aziz Al-Shaair or Dre Greenlaw, you know. So the 49ers, for me, get the vote there.
Yeah, there's nothing like we're talking about groups, not individual players. You got to give it to the Niners there.
All right, moving on to the secondary corners.
I got the Niners there too. We're going to see Charvarius Ward play. Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, that's fine. But I think the 49ers overall run deep there too.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yep, same.
Safeties.
Push for me. Eddie Jackson's really good. And we're missing Jimmy Ward. He's not going to play. So with the safeties that we're starting, I don't know. I worry about Talanoa Hufanga with his athleticism. I think that he gives up the sideline a little too much. And I don't know what George Odom is yet as a starting safety. We're going to find out, but I know that Eddie Jackson's pretty damn good. So,
yeah. I'm going Bears.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not a push, bro. I love you, Matt, but it is not a push, man.
I guess, yeah, I should give it to the Bears too. I should give it to the Bears. I shouldn't be a homer there.
Yeah, Eddie Jackson's really good.
Yeah, Eddie Jackson's really, really good. I
should
Jimmy Ward at that. Eddie Jackson's really good.
If Jimmy Ward was here, I would say Niners. Jimmy Ward's not here. Got to go Bears. All right. Special teams.
Man, I got to give it to the Bears.
What's going on, Mike?
Right now. I got to give it to the Bears right now.
No, you don't.
Like Cairo Santos. I like Cairo Santos better than I like Robbie Gould. And I mean, I don't know who the Bears punter are, but I do know that Mitch Wisnowski is not great. And I don't know enough about Ray McLeod with how he's going to handle the duties, as opposed to they're throwing Khalil Herbert back there. So I'm good with that.
But what you do know about is Tim Hightower, and he is the new Bears special teams coordinator. It's the Niners all day, baby. He is the worst special teams coordinator. Yes, he is the worst special teams coordinator in the NFL.
Just ignore me.
Except for the Packers guy. I'm sorry, guys. I've seen the scheme, I've seen the plan, and it is not a good one. It's not a good one.
No. Oh God, I forgot he went there. I thought that he got ghosted from the NFL because he sucked so bad. Apparently not. Well, I stand corrected. I was wrong. I want to apologize to the faithful right here, right now. I want to apologize to my co-hosts. It is in no way, shape, or form. I don't care if I like Cairo Santos better than Robbie Gould. Hightower is the biggest dog shit coach ever. And you know what? I was looking at the players because I figured we'd get to coaching, but we didn't even need to wait because Hightower's terrible. Now, moving on to coaching, it's the 49ers, clearly. Matt Eberflus has no pedigree whatsoever as a head coach, so you got to go with the guy who's been to 2 NFC championship games and a Super Bowl.
Not only that, defensive coordinator, the likely next head coach of the NFL, DeMeco Ryans, was a freaking all-star last year as a coach. His first year coaching the defense, Got to go Niners. You got to go Niners. Kyle Shanahan, DeMeco Ryans. If both of them were on the open market right now, you can't tell me that every single team besides maybe 5 would be firing their head coach to get these guys. Mike, who do you got?
When you have a defensive coordinator who's turning down second interviews because he decided he wanted to stay with the team he's at, it lets you know all you want. And by the way, it's his first year there. It was his first year there. So that just shows you what the possibilities are. The defense just getting better. Another year under his belt, man. He's going to have a lot more fun. Once Jimmy Ward comes back, he's going to get to be a little bit more exotic with the scheme and things like that. You got to give the hat tip to the 49ers there. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I don't know if Cairo Santos is better than Robbie or not. All I know is that Robbie will just randomly get a case of the I don't give a shits and shank like 3 straight extra points. So
I will say that Robbie
eminently frustrating.
Since he's healed up from his injuries, Robbie Gould's been pretty on fire. He has, and I've been the biggest person. I didn't like his whole holdout thing and all that stuff. I didn't like the guaranteed contract.
That too. I hate when people hold up the team. I really don't like it.
So I was against Robbie, but I had to step back and give him his props, man. My man made 250+ yarders in preseason. I know it's only preseason, right? That's not what I'm worried about. But the Niners wouldn't even attempt 50-yard field goals last year. We were punting from our own 40 at times. And I'm like, what the hell is, like, you have no faith. You know what I'm saying? Like the 35-yard line, they're like, yeah, guys, I don't know about this one. I'm like, we shouldn't be contemplating. Now that he's out there and he's booting these things, they've made Robbie Gould the kickoff guy. They've made Mitch Wisnowski the only punting. I think that's going to bode well for him. He can focus on just being a punter. His punt looked significantly better in preseason, directional, pinning teams inside the 10 multiple times. I mean, it was really, really good. The short punts, he put more air under it so that way his coverage unit could get down there. He seems to be locked in more now that they're not asking him to play both kickoff and punt.
Right. Probably has something to do with Richard Hightower not being there.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
So I just want to say, yes, we are going to be a little bit biased because we're 49ers fans. You know, that is what fans do. Just like you're going to be biased. But it's pretty clear that the 49ers are very much so the better team. Like, there's nobody that thinks the Bears are actually better than the 49ers. Like, literally, no, I don't even think the Bears ownership group thinks that the Bears are better than the 49ers, right? Again, Floyd Mayweather had a weakness too. He didn't have knockout power, but everything else in his boxing repertoire was really good. So the 49ers might have weaknesses. The Bears just have a lot more.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way things are. That's just it. You know what I mean? It's just the way things are. So, and the coaching staff has a lot to do with that.
All right. I think it's time for our offensive and defensive players MVP of the game predictions. I'm all jumbled up. Offensive, defensive MVP predictions for the 49ers. Matt, let's start with you with the offense.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Elijah Mitchell. I think he has 18 carries, probably about 90 yards and a touchdown. It's going to be a rainy, wet game. It's the first game of the season. He's going to get his first action, and I think that there are going to be opportunities for him. So take the pressure off of Trey Lance a little bit, establish the running game, and that'll open things up later. So Elijah Mitchell for me.
Mike, who you got?
I'm going to go with a receiver in a rainy game. I'm going to go with Brandon Ayuk. Ayuk does this thing where he goes out there and he kind of spins and jumps and hurdles people and things like that. And I think that can bode well for defenders trying to get him on this new grass in this kind of weather. I think that he just makes a couple of whoa plays. He might not get in the end zone a bunch of times or anything like that, but I think that his elusiveness will help him out. You have more control when you know what you're doing versus the person trying to react to what you're doing. And so I think that's going to bode well for Brandon Ayuk. I'm going to go with Brandon Ayuk as my guy.
I just want to say too, real quick. We gave the Bears the edge at QB, running back, tight end, and safety. We gave the 49ers the edge at offensive and defensive line. Yeah. Just a correction.
Silly us being biased. All right. I'm going to go with, I got two players in my head. One of them was Brandon Ayuk. Since Mike was Brandon Ayuk, I'm going to go with Ross Dwelly. I'm going to go a little bit of a sleeper here, right? And I fucking hate the backup tight end position from the 49ers because they cannot produce anything. George Kittle is unlikely to play. I think Ross Dwelly steps up, has a big game. I remember a couple years ago, George Kittle was out. Ross Dwelly played in the Cardinals game at home. Had like 3 touchdowns. Tight end is a young quarterback's best friend. I think we're going to see that on full display Sunday morning in Chicago with Trey Lance hitting Ross Dwelly for 2 scores. 2 scores. All right. Defensive MVP. Matt, who you got?
Bro, you already know what it is. Nick Bosa, 3 sacks and a forced fumble. It's going to happen. It's going to happen this season. I predicted it all last season. We got close a couple occasions, but I'm going to keep it rocking. Nick Bosa, 3 sacks and a forced fumble.
I'm going to go with Javon Kinlaw coming up the middle, tearing shit up, wreaking havoc out there. I think it's going to be they're going to try to focus on the run, and that's where Javon Kinlaw is going to shine. But Mika, I got to tell you something here, man. So if memory serves me correct, the Bears defense lost that game. Justin fared very well with a terrible coaching staff, but won't get any credit tonight on this podcast. We gave him the edge at quarterback. Matt called it a push. Zach and I both gave it to him. That's a plus in his favor. Now, he wasn't that great either. He ran for 103 yards and didn't throw for 200. All right, so you can sit here and it was probably his best game of the season, but that doesn't mean that he fared well. He didn't do enough to win. That's what it comes down to. That's what we're here talking about and trying to decide, right? Like that's it's not if, ands, or maybes, or, well, if you look at this situation, don't LeBron James stats me like, in the third quarter with, between the 6-minute mark and the 4-minute mark, this is what he did. No, you have to look at the overall picture, right? He was running like that for a reason, because he couldn't get shit else happening in other areas of the game. The run game was getting shut down. So it's not about whether or not he's going to get any credit. We gave him all the credit that we can give him. Right now, we're giving him the edge over our quarterback, Trey Lance. That's it. A lot of us here on this podcast liked him coming out in the draft. I had him as the guy I wanted the Niners to get, not Trey Lance. I had him first and then Trey Lance.
And it's not even necessarily a knock on Justin Fields either. Okay, you got to look at the position groups. Okay, Darnell Mooney and whoever else, that you're going to trot out there at wide receiver is not going to make Justin Fields' life as easy as Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk are going to make Trey Lance's life. It's plain and simple. It's not just the quarterback. If it was just the quarterback, then, quarterback-driven teams would win the Super Bowl every single year, but it takes more than that. This is, at the end of the day, football is it's the most team game. There's the most players on the field at the same time, right? It's the most intricate and interwoven type of game. Every single play is designed specifically for that one play against that one defense or that one situation. Nothing else is like that. Baseball's not like that. Basketball's not like that. Football is intricately unique in the sporting world. And so it's the ultimate team game. It's not just one guy, right? great guys can make you better for sure. But we're giving flowers to Justin Fields while also acknowledging that the 49ers have a better team around Trey Lance than the Bears have around Justin Fields. And that's not a knock.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Mooney wasn't even your leading receiver. I know that throughout the season he'll be your leading receiver, but in Sunday's game, it's probably going to be a guy like Dante Pettis who's a better route runner,
right?
Because that speed, that 4.38
Ward's going to be in Mooney's pocket,
right? But that 4.38 speed in the rain, it's going to hamper you unless he gets off the line really well. But we're playing press coverage here, so it's going to be a little bit different. Well, not coverage, but coverage. Press isn't the coverage. It's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's goddamn. The word is escaping me right now, but it's not a coverage, is what I'm saying. It's like a style. I forget the word I'm looking for. Escapes me right now. But my point is, the deep route running and all that stuff. The Bears are going to play off. The Niners don't play off. They're going to be lined up at the line. They're going to try to jam your guys and throw off the timing in the rain. Mooney's going to be neutralized by something like that. You play off of a guy like Danny Gray, he's going to one move you, and then he's going to be gone. It's not going to bode well. So
this is where he made his mistake. He say, you keep mentioning these players have talent. If I recall, you guys drafted one of our receivers, Dante Pettis, in the second round. So now he doesn't have talent, right? He had talent. He didn't put it together. He's a head case. Otherwise, if he did have talent and he was good, he would still be here.
And
so
I literally just said,
trying to come on, man.
And I literally just said he might end up leading your team this game in receiving yards because his skill set.
And this is where we start falling off the track, where it's like, hey, we gotta relax. All right, Micah, you gotta relax. A lot of us 49er fans, and Cinnamon Kiss says it perfectly. A lot of us were also fans of Justin Fields because we were looking at the draft going like, hey, it's going to be, I want Trey Lance or I want Justin Fields. Yep. So we don't hate on Justin Fields. Mike, don't point out the nudes in the chat, bro.
The day of the chat, I literally wore a maroon and silver tie because I was hoping the 49ers would draft Justin Fields. I'm extremely happy with Trey Lance. He was my 2. But yeah, like Sin says here, many Niner fans are also fans of Justin Fields.
Exactly. And if you go back to where I ranked, where we did our rankings for the 5 quarterbacks that came out of that draft, and I said specifically on that show, I oscillated between Trey Lance and Justin Fields multiple times at the 3 and the 4 spot. And again, Justin Fields is in a tough situation, but that doesn't make Justin Fields not a good player. It means that he's a good player in a tough situation, and that kills people.
Mike, was the word you're looking for technique? All right.
Yes, thank you so much, Callie. God, man. Talk about it, bro.
Callie brought it.
I'm going to the casino tonight. Callie's the man. Let's go, baby. Is it on me to pick my defensive player? Is that where we are?
Yes. We're at you. We got sidetracked.
Oh, no, I said Kinlaw.
Oh, it's on me. It's on me.
Yeah, you did. Oh, it's Zach.
Thank you, Callie. It was Scarlet and Gray. You are 100% correct. All right. You already know it's Drake Jackson, baby. It's Drake Jackson. The kid's going to ball out. Matt's guy, Nick Bosa, is going to push the quarterback into Drake Jackson's lap all game long. Justin Fields is extremely quick, extremely agile, able to stop on a dime. We've seen Drake Jackson do exactly that. So I think he's going to be matched up somewhat fairly. Justin Fields obviously still going to have the edge. He's a lot quicker, a lot smaller, a lot more agile, but I like Drake Jackson's chances. I think Drake Jackson's going to have 2 sacks, 2 touchdowns for Dwelly, 2 sacks for Jackson. Hell of an NFL debut for the rookie defensive lineman out of USC.
Hey, I like that. If Drake Jackson getting 2 sacks, then we're eating. That's for sure.
All right, final score predictions. Before we get into that, though, we got to choose our MyBookie prop of the game. Do you guys have one in mind, or you want to pick one live?
Yeah, we can do it live.
Just like Bill O'Reilly. You guys remember that clip? Anyone? No. Fuck it. No, we'll do it live.
Oh.
Because the damn broadcaster, whatever, is not working. He loses it.
I got mine. I'm taking 49ers and the over.
Oh, that's an easy one.
That's an easy one.
At -110, though?
Yeah, why not?
All right, I'm going to pick mine, and then
I'll playing it safe.
I like to get some with good odds. Like I said earlier, I put 25 on last night's game, the Rams and the Bills to be tied at half and the Bills to win. The Rams answered my prayers, kicked a field goal right as time expired going into half. And sure enough, the Bills won. That was plus 1,600. So that 25 turned into 425. All right. This is a good one.
All right. I'll be bold. How about I be bold, right? Over-under's too easy. How about I take the 49ers? That's going to inform you guys. I'm going to take the 49ers plus 20.
Okay. All right. I like this one right here. 49ers over 7.5 plus 109. That's mine. Mike, did you have one?
Scroll down. I saw something down there at the bottom right there. What's that at the bottom? No, right there, bottom right. Was that plus 186? What is that?
Oh, right here.
Yeah, right there. What is that?
Yep.
But is this for a certain
third quarter?
49ers leading by
so that's the 49ers
6.5.
will have at least a 6.5 point lead after 3.
That's mine. That's
There
it
you
right
go.
there. That's it right there. I told
There
you
you
guys we'll get out to a lead, but Shanahan will go reserve, so I don't think we cover the 6.5 spread. That's how it happens right there. That's exactly how
All
it
right.
happens right there. That's what I'm going with. That's mine.
All right, guys, remember to go to Mybookie.ag, sign up with promo code Hive, get that double deposit bonus. Put in $50, I'll match you 50. Put in 200, they'll match you 200. Take advantage now. Mybookie.ag, promo code Hive. Let's wrap this show up with our final score predictions. Matt, what do you got?
I mean, I said I would take them plus 20. I think the 49ers womp the Bears. I think it's going to be front to back, just an ass whooping. 31-10 49ers.
All right.
This Rams and Buffalo Bills score, right? Wasn't that the score in the Bills? Oh no, I think they had more than 31, didn't they?
No, Bills won 31-10. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
All
that
right.
was between the defending Super Bowl champs and an AFC playoff team. That now we got a team that made it to the NFC Championship game versus a team that went 6-11 and probably got a little worse, to be honest.
All right. I think we're not scoring a lot of points because of the rain. I'm gonna go Niners. I'm feeling 20 between 21 and 24. I'll say 24, and the Bears 18.
All right.
18.
And to answer Leonardo's question, we will be live immediately following Kyle Shanahan's press conference. Come back here for youtube.com/49ers Hive. Check out the post-game show. There's going to be a million shows on, so we appreciate you guys coming to check us out. I'm going to go 49ers 27, Bears 13. 14-point win. And by the way, we're redoing this. Not one person has gotten this right. If you comment the score and get it right, we will send you some merch. Comment it on the show after it's ended. Comment it in the chat right now. Tweet it at us. Whatever you want to do. If you get it right, we'll send you some merch. I'm hoping somebody finally gets it right.
Yep.
Third year doing this.
And cut off is first kickoff, guys.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Scott, I appreciate you. Good luck. Hopefully it's a great game.
Yes. And again, I'm having a little fun. Again, like I said, my little brother, one of my best friends in this world, is a lifelong Bears fan. So I got to give him a little extra shit this week. So that's all this is. Don't take it too seriously. It's the first game of the season. Anything can happen. We're just excited that football's back, baby.
Do you guys do a watch party?
No. I can't, man. I can't, dude. I get way too like, hey, don't talk to me. I'm like, my wife even knows, like, I'm not fucking with you while you're watching the game.
Can I do a shameless plug? Can I plug?
Yeah,
Please.
Absolutely.
All right. So guys, every 49ers game, we do it live on our Patreon page. So if you guys don't know, it's patreon.com/NB9ERS. That stands for nothing but Niners. It's on the flag right there behind me, NB9ERS. If you guys want to come over there and watch the game with us on game day, see the live raw reactions. The chat is on fire the whole time. It's a lot of fun. So make sure you guys get over there. Last time I checked, there were 75 people already subscribed, so you can imagine what the crowd is going to be like in that chat. Okay, so make sure you guys get there. Patreon.com. Zach put it right there on the screen. Patreon.com/NB9ERS for the live coverage.
I would be remiss if I didn't throw up Melissa's comment. Forever Faithful, one of our podcasts here on the Hive, also has a watch party on playback. So we got to plug them too. Brandon, Dion, Christian, they're going to bring it to you as well. So please, subscribe to them as well. Different flavors for different folks, and, check out both and see which one you like. Now, I got a question for you though, Mike, on the logistics of that, because one of the problems that I have that I can't interact with people is that like our WhatsApp chat will be going off, right? And I got to turn that shit off because when the game's going on, I might be more delayed than somebody else. How do you guys like handle that with the delays?
Yeah, so a lot of the times people are ahead, but they'll start typing, "Oh, wait till Mike sees this play." You know what I mean? So it happens. There's sometimes where,
but like with the people on the video though, like how do y'all? Like, is it just you, or is it like Nick, or is like Tony there?
No. So it'll be like me and 3 other people on video, and we're on the small side of the screen over here, and then the big screen.
Right, but how do y'all like not step on each other with like the different plays, or you just like let it?
Oh no, it happened. You'll see one person be like, "Oh my," and like they're trying to hold it in. They're trying to hold it in,
and then everybody else is like, "Ah, God damn!" They're like, "Perry, you son of a bitch," like I did.
Yeah, so so we deal with it. You know what I mean? Everyone's watching the same game on their own channel or whatever. When we do like Amazon and stuff, I am significantly further ahead than everybody else for some reason. I don't know why. Then there's
probably real close to Amazon servers,
maybe. But then like there's regular games that happen, and I might be a whole 3 plays behind sometimes. You know what I mean? It just depends on, and I'll find the stream that's hitting the fastest and closest to real time. So I do that all the time. And yes,
did you decide whether or not you were gonna go to the home opener like live?
Yeah, I am going to that game, and I have talked to my wife. She's going to still set up the live feed, and I'll check in from time to time on here. I believe Mariah is going to host it for me. The 49er Faithful Lead podcast, she's going to be hosting the live Patreon for me while that's all going on. I am going to the home opener. Yep.
I thought about going to it, but I was like, nah, the Seahawks are trash this year. I just don't even feel like
I got to book. Well, first of all, I want to see the Niners beat the Seahawks in person. I've never seen it. So and I haven't booked a flight home yet, dude. Like the tickets are like the cheap ones that I found are like $350. And
we looked at them last week.
I'm not doing it. I can't. I don't know how I'm gonna get home. Well, I'm gonna get home somehow, but like then the other ones like that are like a reasonable price are flying me to JFK. I know that this doesn't mean anything to people who don't know where that is, but it's 2 hours from where I live.
Yeah.
So I'm like, nah, man, I can't fly back and then drive 2 hours. I'm supposed to work on Monday. Like, I don't know how that's going to happen. So I already told my supervisor, you might get an unexpected call from me saying that I'll be in on Tuesday.
Mike, what's this about you setting off fireworks? Please let the folks know.
All right. So this is only for primetime games. Only for primetime games on our Patreon. After every touchdown, I am setting off fireworks. We practiced during the preseason. It was successful. I gave all my neighbors letters with the dates, the times, my phone number. If there's a problem, please call me. You don't have to reach out to law enforcement. And guess who I got a phone call from today? The chief of police for Morrisville, because one of my neighbors decided to go. Can I play you guys the voicemail on the air? Can I do that really quick?
Let's do it.
So I get a block number. I don't answer block numbers. I don't answer block numbers at all. I get this call from a block number. I don't answer it. And it's one of my neighbors calling from a block call to like tell me no one out here even likes the 49ers. Like, listen to this shit. Your device is muted. Oh, I have to turn my volume up. Okay, I get it. My bad. All right, let's try it now. Oh, it's muted because I'm on Do Not Disturb. Okay, so let's turn off Do Not Disturb. That's why. It's after 11.
That's an Android.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
I'm just calling about a piece of paper I got in the mail saying you're going to be setting off fireworks after a San Francisco 49er game. Number one, nobody cares about the San Francisco 49ers except you. And you're going to disrupt the whole neighborhood because you like that team? And besides, In Pennsylvania, it's against the law to set off fireworks within 150 feet of a occupied dwelling. So I hope you enjoy the cops showing up at your house. Bye.
So I couldn't speak to this person because he called from a block number, right? So then today I get a call from the chief of police and he's telling me the same thing. And I said, well, sir, unfortunately, I know the law. I didn't just put this idea together and not check with people and everything like that. I said, I'm allowed to set off fireworks within 150 feet of people's houses as long as I have their permission. So I only have 2 neighbors within 150 feet of me, and they have both already given me the okay. He's like, well, you can't set off any fireworks. It's not legal in the state of Pennsylvania. I say, you're wrong. No disrespect. But if it's less than 50 milligrams, I'm allowed to buy it and set it off at my house. I don't need anyone else's permission. He goes, where are you getting that from? So the chief of police called me and didn't even know the law. He Googled it while I was on the phone with him and was like, well, if you keep reading, it says, I was like, no. You can't pick and choose which parts of the law you want to apply right now, sir. I said, I've been a resident of this city for a very long time. And every 4th of July, we all set off fireworks in the middle of the street. Are you telling me that everyone's breaking the law? He's like, actually, yeah, they are breaking the law. I was like, so then what's the difference? He was like, well, we're not looking for them. I was like, so you're telling me you're going to come looking for me? Is that what you're saying? He was like, well, you put a paper in your neighbor's mailboxes with the dates and times of the games. I said, all right, well, we'll see what happens. And I'm willing to play this one.
You're like, bet I'll see you there.
Yeah, I'm willing to let this one play out. I've got permission from everybody that's 150 feet from my property. And it's only, like I said, it's only 2 neighbors. They both have said they're fine with it. And it's not even going to happen after the noise ordinance unless there's like an overtime or something. You know what I mean? Like now out here, 8 o'clock games usually end around 11. But come on, like you're probably going to get 1 firework after that point. So it's all cool. I gave the heads up. I did my part. I'm going to go and reconfirm with my 2 neighbors that are within 150 feet.
Yeah.
And everyone else can SMD. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Damn it, Bobby. Don't set off the fireworks in the neighborhood.
Holy shit. You sound like... And I've been trying to figure. So I don't talk to all of my neighbors that much. So I don't know who it is. Like the people that I handed some of these people the letters in person. The one guy was like, oh, can you do the same thing for the Eagles game? But he's a Hispanic guy. That wasn't him. I have a feeling
that definitely was not him.
No,
not the profile, but he didn't. I don't think that dude speaks Spanish who was on your voicemail.
Right. So whoever this person is, they took their time to drive down to the police station with my flyer, asked the chief of police if he could make this not happen. And I went back and forth with the chief of police. And I told him, I said, look, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful to you or my neighbors. I said, but I know my rights. I know the law. This is something that I did research into just in case. And I'm in Pennsylvania, not in Jersey, guys. I'm in Pennsylvania. I rep Jersey, but I live in Pennsylvania. So,
all right. My dad, real quick, is watching former San Jose PD, and he says that's prejudice 100%. And it sounds like the assholes he grew up with his whole life. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Do you think, Mike?
I'm ready to go to war with him, man. I talked to my mom. My mom has this lawyer on retainer that she's been paying for years that she has never used. So her balance is
buckle up, mama. I might need him.
Well, what I told her was, I said, I just want this guy to call the chief of police. I got his direct number when I was on the phone with him today. I said, I'm going to have my lawyer give you a call. And he's like, I'd love to do that. He goes, and you do that, we'll get this all taken care of. He goes, at a certain point, there's nothing we can do. But he said this. And I told him, I said, I appreciate you guys calling me. A citizen
ahead of time
brought to you a complaint and you try to get it nipped at the bud. I said, so I appreciate what you're doing. I said, but unfortunately, I run a business out of my house, and this is part of the business for this year. I said, doesn't mean it's going to go on forever. I said, it's only 5 games in the entire year. We might not score at all, and there might not be a firework. I said, I can't guarantee anything. I said, so it's not that big of a deal, but I'm willing to, run this thing through with you guys. So let's just see what happens.
No, so the reason I was asking about the Seattle game is I was wondering if you were still going to do the watch along thing, because I'll do it for a shit team. I'll hop in the Patreon for like a bad team for sure.
Please, so you and Mariah can hold me down.
Yeah,
you guys can hold me down. The stream is going to be all set up. My wife knows how to work it all and everything over here. So if you guys don't mind doing that for me, that would be great. Because like I said, I'm just going to pop in from time to time in the stadium, and the reception sucks. I'll probably be all blotchy and shit. I feel bad, but Mariah did a practice run for me during the preseason where it was my dad's 60th birthday party. So I'm outside drunk and smoking cigars, and she's like, "All right, Mike, go on mute. Shut up now." You know, like so.
Yeah.
I would really
also when you're here next week. Drinks on B. We're gonna meet up. When do you come in? Saturday, Friday?
I'm coming in Saturday.
All right,
Saturday morning.
Let's do
All right.
something.
Fuck, now I got FOMO, bro.
You got to come then, man. What are you doing Saturday?
I know, right? I got to hold up. Let me see. Let me see what I'm doing.
Let's see what that Tesla
all right.
for, baby. Come on.
I know.
With that all said,
shit, I ain't driving the Tesla 11 hours to get out there. That I'm flying. I'm lazy, bro.
All right.
I might. You know what though? Let me look into it. I might day in and day out it. You know what I'm saying? Like I might.
If you get a good deal, yeah. Don't go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not gonna be nothing crazy. I'll see.
All right. With all that said, that's gonna wrap up this episode. Football's back, baby. The 49ers are back. We will be back after the game, after Kyle Shanahan's press conference. Come back to youtube.com/49ers Hive. Join us here. Mike, I'm sure the fans already subscribed. Let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, so if you guys are looking for me personally, my Twitter handle was right here. Oh, it was right there. There it is right there. Mike Andrews 83. And if you guys are looking for the page on YouTube, we do have our own page on YouTube, guys. It is nothing but Niners. You can type that in. You can type in NB9ERS. You can type in NBN. We'll pop up there. Just go ahead and subscribe, guys. Like if you like this content here, we're giving you a lot more. And then there is the Patreon that they just popped up. Oh, wrong side. Right there. There's the Patreon also if you guys want to join there.
All right, Matt, you want to take us out?
Absolutely. Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate it. Football is back. And with that, it's going to be another beautiful season of 49ers football. We finally get to see what Trey Lance is all about. The hype, the bullshit, the press junkets, all the crappy stories, all the will they, won't they, all the we're not committed, we're this and that. It's all out the window. It doesn't even matter at this point because in less than 48 hours, the 49ers are going to take the field against the Chicago Bears in Chicago, and we're going to kick off the 2022 season. With that being said, we love having you here as always. So until next time, go Niners.